Kieran Tamondong, thank you for stopping by and stopping in the station.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So the reason we met, we're reconnecting now. I did a story about you. I think it was closer to the beginning of last year when you were you had just been on Little Big Shots, right?
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about Little Big Shots. It's kind of it's an interesting show. Tell me a little bit about the show and what you were doing. It was Steve Harvey was the host?
Yes, Steve Harvey was the host. It was produced by Steve Harvey and Ellen DeGeneres. It's really unique because it's like a talent show, no type of competition or anything like that. It's just a bunch of kids with great talents and lots of fun. And them being with Steve Harvey is like the best part because Steve Harvey knows how to make great jokes like all the time.
And so what were you doing? What was your role on the show?
So I'm a martial artist. I've been training for like almost my whole life, almost half my life right now. And I went to
How old are you, 27?
I'm 14.
You're 14. Okay, sorry. Just want to make sure.
I'm turning 15 this July.
Okay.
So I've been doing martial arts for a very long time, and I was on the show to show Mr. Steve Harvey my talent in karate and what I can do.
So what was your specific skill?
Well, karate as in like style? Or?
Yeah, did you perform a move for him? Or
yes. I actually, when I walked out, I showed him a few basic moves, like a punch, I showed him a kick, and then I told him, okay, here's another great move. It's like 5-year-olds can do this, no problem, I bet you can do it. And then I do like this crazy front flip in front of him to the knee, and then I look at him like, all right, your turn.
and he did it, right? No.
Not quite.
No, not quite. All right. Did he even try?
No.
Oh, man. Well, it's probably because he was wearing a suit. It's probably a little tougher.
Maybe.
The facial expressions on Steve Harvey though are priceless.
Yeah, they are.
I'm sure I'm picturing what he did when you said, "Okay, now your turn." Did you set him up? By the way, was that like did you know he was just going to give you one of those Steve Harvey looks when you said that?
Was it staged or like did you?
Yes, was it staged or did you
he had no clue? He didn't know what we were going to do.
I love it.
All he knew was I do martial arts and I was going to do something with him. He did not know I was going to do some flip. In front of him.
Now, Kieran, you're being a little humble. You don't just dabble in the martial arts. You're pretty good. You're pretty good. Tell me, you compete for Team USA?
Yes,
the junior team.
A while back, I was in the national team trials to compete to qualify for the national team, and I qualified to be on the U.S. team to compete in Bolivia at the Pan American Games.
Wow.
And now this past year I went to Pittsburgh for the Nationals, and I also qualified to go to Ecuador for that Pan American Games. And I did really well. I'm very happy, and another one's coming up soon.
So I got to ask you, Bolivia, Ecuador, Pittsburgh, favorite choice of those three cities? give me those. Well, technically two of them are countries, I know, before Tom comes in here, but give me a comparison of those three.
Oh, well, Pittsburgh, it was really, I'm used to, how, it looked more USA, I should say.
Okay.
It's going to make a little more sense later.
It looks slightly more like what you're used to seeing in USA than Bolivia and Ecuador.
Because in Bolivia and Ecuador, it was more of a third world country, and so once we got there, I noticed slight changes and some major changes in building structures and culture and how people go around the city. Some of the driving, even. Oh my gosh, I got quite scared.
We're talking about Pittsburgh now.
Oh, Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Or are you talking about Ecuador?
I'm talking about Ecuador.
Oh, okay.
Bolivia now.
So just making sure.
Yeah, and those countries, it's third world, so
right.
Driving there was a bit hectic, right. I can say.
Well, that's cool. So what has been the most fun, because you've been traveling too? You have some things on the agenda. You're going to be in South Carolina and then Philadelphia for these competitions, right? Yeah,
I'm going to be going to a lot of states to compete. I'm hoping to do well. I actually did really well in this past tournament. I went to Chicago.
Oh, what were you doing in Chicago?
I was doing some of the same stuff that I showed Mr. Steve Harvey. It's the first tournament of the season for the sport martial arts, and I think I did pretty well. And the next tournament, I hope to do better.
What's interesting is you kind of have a new you take part and compete in a pioneering form of martial arts, right? It's kind of new, right. And it's newer. Can you explain to me a little bit about how that works, this new form of martial arts, or newer?
So since I last met you, I've been taking karate more seriously, and we've had a more structured version of how to go about for the future, especially competition wise.
Like your training and
yes, training. I've been training more since we last talked. I've had higher hopes. Like I said, I'm hoping to be in the Olympics in 2020
right.
to compete. So in Tokyo. So.
And what would you? This would be the first time that this type of martial arts would be available in the Olympics, right? Or people
That's
will
right.
be in 2020.
Yeah.
So how is it different from the traditional martial arts?
Well, traditional martial arts. That's like think of like old Japanese Okinawa type. It's like no flips, like that's all excess. We're talking more basic, but also stronger, like more
strength based as opposed to maybe what you're doing, which is
because in sport martial arts, it's all about speed and power and what's cool and flashy. But we're taking the basics of that, and that's what traditional is all about: the self-discipline and the.
So how did you become first interested or involved in the this newer form, this less traditional martial arts, I guess, the sports martial arts?
This one has been taking a big toll on me. Since I've been doing a lot more training. It
seems like it would because you're flipping around.
I've been doing it really often, especially since I have something else coming up in a few days.
What's that? Oh, the trip to Germany.
Yes.
So tell me about that because they're basically, my understanding is it was similar to what you've done now, but they're making it worldwide.
That's right. So basically what happened is from Little Big Shots, I had no idea how popular it was going to be because it hadn't aired when we were filming.
Right.
But once it aired, it got so many views. It was like one of the most liked something in like 10 years. So other countries had bought the franchise of Little Big Shots and had their own version. So what happened was places like South America, I think the UK and Germany had their own versions. Like Colombia, they had their Grandes Chicos, and I actually went over there to do their version, which was great. I did really well. And now, once I got back, my agent called me, and they said that Germany is interested in having me there too. So now we plan to go there to perform for Germany.
So has there been one place that you've been more excited or you'd like to travel to more than the others now that you've been to all these different places?
I just love to travel. I love to see different places.
Very cool. Very cool.
And you're from Valencia?
I am. Yes, Valencia, California. I go to West Ranch High School, and I'm a freshman.
So how do you get to balance all that? Because your class schedule works around and your work schedule works around your class schedule, right? So how do you do that?
So what happened was when we started getting a lot more into martial arts, my school schedule started getting really, really tough to handle. So what we did was my parents enrolled me into a homeschooling program that could really help because they would allow me to do some classes there and some classes at a regular school, which would allow me to see friends still. Okay. So basically what happens is I go to West Ranch for like algebra, and then I do all my other classes and courses online. So that way I could do it like, let's say on the fly, on a plane while I'm traveling, and it makes it so much easier, heck of a lot easier.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I bet it gets pretty demanding. Is there anything that you're just kind of like about the travel, it just becomes like showing up in front of all those people? Does it ever feel like a job? Or
it never feels like a job. I've always felt it as just entertainment. I love to entertain people. That's one of the things I love to do because like I said from our last conversation, I used to love the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, and I still do.
Right. We have a couple Power Ranger fans in the studio. I think Andrew was very jealous when I showed him the video because you did a commercial for a Power Ranger toy for folks that did not know. So what was filming the commercial like?
Okay, so the commercial started around the end of last year. I got an audition call that I booked a job for I was on cue for a job for the new Power Rangers because the new show came out on Nickelodeon, Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
Right. So
since they're anticipating that, they were going to use all the weapons converted into toys, and I was going to use those toys as if I was a Power Ranger, so then I could like reenact me as a kid and becoming a Power Ranger because part of that goes from me, and then I morph into a Power Ranger. Right. So it's kind of like the imagination inside a kid's head.
Very cool. So was that fun to shoot as a fan? You're a fan of the Power Rangers.
I am. That was so much fun. I even got to meet the Sudarso. He was one of the Power Rangers in the previous. He was one of the previous Power Rangers. And
the original.
Yeah, the original. Very cool. So that was really nice to meet him too. I'm glad he came out and I got to meet him.
Awesome. Well, Kieran, please keep us posted with your travels and your successes in your competitions, and good luck. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Kieran Tamondong.